Yes, I fuck with your nigga. Yes, I was with your nigga last week. Yes, I love your nigga. Yes, he nutted in me. Yes, I'm pregnant.
A woman was fatally shot at the Wesley Square Apartments on Calhoun. Police say two women were in a fight in the parking lot when one of them produced a gun and shot the other before fleeing. The woman who was shot self-transported herself to a local hospital where she was pronounced deceased. Investigators say they are following up with a potential witness and say they may have an idea who the suspect is.
In his days of fighting, what were they fighting about?
That I don't know. To me, it doesn't matter because I don't get in kids' business. I try to stay out of that. He say, she say.
Yeah.
Because I've always held mine accountable.
Your daughter knew better, she was doing what you taught her at the moment, which was trying to dissolve everything.
Yeah, I definitely taught a conflict resolution. Definitely. I'm big on conflict resolution, and I preach to Asia all the time about talking. Stop, think, then go with what you need to do. I know in my heart of hearts that even though she came to help her sister and talk to get the situation resolved, her mind, my voice was there telling her she needed to be home. But for the love of her sister, love of her sibling, which everybody's guilty of that, she came. Sure. She came, but she didn't come with no violence. Asia had worked a 16-hour shift previous to coming over here.
The woman who's in jail now, that's facing a serious charge, a life-changing charge.
Very serious charge. And
you got something to say to her?
Yes, young lady, I'm not mad at you. Again, I'm more hurt at you. I'm more hurt at Asia. I'm hurt at everyone that was out there. And I'm hurt at you because you took a life. I expect for you to hold accountability, and I'm going to hold you to the highest standard of accountability.
On February 8, 2026, Asia Stewart, age 26, was shot and killed in the parking lot of the Wesley Square Apartments in Sunnyside, Houston, Texas, during an early morning confrontation involving other women. Police alleged that Daja Wilmore, 25, shot Stewart after a physical altercation that erupted while several people were gathered in the complex's parking area. Witness accounts say Stewart had stepped in to help a friend when the situation escalated. Stewart was transported to Ben Taub Hospital but succumbed to her wounds later that night. Wilmore was arrested and charged with murder based on witness identifications and physical evidence recovered at the scene. Law enforcement has not publicly confirmed any clear motive beyond the immediate dispute, leaving investigators and family members grappling with why a confrontation turned lethal. Here, we deliver clear, factual, and up-to-date true crime stories. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed on the latest cases and investigations. The incident occurred during the late hours of a Sunday night. Police were dispatched after calls reporting a shooting at the apartment complex. Preliminary investigation indicated that the shooting was not random. Rather, it occurred after a dispute escalated between Stewart and Wilmore. Witness statements suggest that multiple women were involved in a physical altercation, during which Wilmore drew a firearm and shot Stewart. Stewart did not possess a weapon at the time. The use of lethal force transformed what appeared to be a physical confrontation into a homicide, making the identification of motive a primary focus for investigators. From the outset, authorities treated the incident as a homicide. Witnesses placed Wilmore in immediate proximity to Stewart prior to the discharge of the firearm. Initial investigative efforts focused on confirming the identities of all individuals present, documenting the physical altercation, and recovering ballistic evidence from the scene. Consistent witness accounts established Wilmore as the person who fired the weapon at close range, narrowing early investigative focus to the dispute between Stewart and Wilmore, rather than suggesting a random act of violence. Investigators examined the relationship between Stewart and Wilmore. At this stage, there is no public record confirming whether the two women were family, friends, or had prior interactions. Authorities interviewed other individuals present to determine whether pre-existing tension contributed to the confrontation. The exact nature of any relationship between Stewart and Wilmore remains unclear, leaving open questions about whether Stewart's involvement was as an intercessor or whether other interpersonal dynamics escalated the conflict. There is no public evidence suggesting financial disputes were a factor. Stewart and Wilmore were not known to have shared business interests, debts, or obligations to one another. Investigators may consider broader socioeconomic conditions that could contribute to heightened tension or conflict among residents in the apartment complex. However, as of this time, financial considerations have not been identified as a direct motive. No psychological assessments have been released for either Stewart or Wilmore. Investigators typically review prior criminal history, documented incidents of aggression, or mental health records to evaluate behavior and potential motive. There are no publicly reported arrests or prior violent incidents for either party that would inform psychological profiling. The absence of formal evaluation means motive theories based on personality or behavioral tendencies remain hypothetical at this stage. The shooting appears to be an isolated incident. There are no records indicating prior physical confrontations between Stewart and Wilmore. Authorities reviewed previous reports and 911 calls for patterns of conflict at the apartment complex, but did not release any information indicating repeated disputes involving these individuals. The lack of documented prior incidents suggests the altercation may have been sudden, emergent, or based on a previously undisclosed dispute. No public records indicate life insurance policies, legal disputes, or civil litigation that would directly benefit Wilmore upon Stewart's death. Investigators typically examine such documents to determine whether financial gain could serve as a motive. In this case, there is no available evidence of insurance or legal conflicts that could explain the shooting, reducing but not entirely eliminating financial speculation as a factor. Available information indicates a rapid escalation from physical altercation to fatal shooting. Witness statements describe a fight among multiple women prior to the shooting. The critical escalation point was the introduction of a firearm. At present, no evidence has been released showing a progressive escalation of conflict between the parties over time, suggesting the shooting occurred in the context of a single, acute confrontation. The investigation's turning point was the arrest of Wilmore and the filing of murder charges. Police identified Wilmore as the primary suspect based on witness accounts and physical evidence recovered at the scene. The investigative focus shifted toward building a prosecutorial case to demonstrate that Wilmore fired the weapon intentionally. Key factors include witness credibility, forensic documentation, and reconstructing the sequence of events during the altercation. Wilmore was arrested by Houston authorities in the days following the shooting. The charge of murder reflects the determination that Stewart's death resulted from Wilmore's actions, and the use of lethal force was not legally justified based on the information available at the time. The court will examine evidence including witness statements, physical evidence, and any surveillance footage to assess intent and culpability. Motive is not a required element for conviction in homicide cases, but it can influence prosecution strategy and jury perception. Prosecutors are expected to argue that Wilmore acted intentionally and without lawful justification, emphasizing the introduction of a firearm into a physical altercation. The defense may argue self-defense, provocation, or lack of malice. The jury's determination of motive will rely on the totality of circumstances, including the conduct of both individuals during the confrontation, proximity, and any mitigating evidence presented in court. Several key questions remain unanswered. What initiated the original confrontation? Was Stewart intervening on behalf of another individual? And if so, what prompted the dispute? Did Wilmore perceive an imminent threat justifying use of the firearm? Are there additional witnesses whose accounts could clarify the sequence of events? Ultimately, a definitive motive may rely on evidence not publicly disclosed, including statements from Wilmore, forensic analysis linking actions to intent, and investigation of prior interactions between Stewart and Wilmore.